Okay, here we go. Yeah. Anyway, it's already like 11:45 at night. 11:45 p.m. Anyway, I'm just kind of just woke up for the last couple hours. Been away for several hours, but in any case, yeah. So seems that maybe there's going to be a little bit of a turning point in this thing here, the COVID ID 19. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting to a turning point as far as the last 6 months in and out of the hospital for that thing about it. Yeah. So in any case, yeah. Um, Actually, I'm feeling just about the same as far as my strength goes, and although I do feel a little bit of a change, it seems to be towards the better side of like the turning point, and maybe a, a point of actually progressively getting stronger and stronger, and um, all the other complications fading, disappearing, and all that good stuff. Yeah. So yeah. In any case, yeah. So I'm actually looking at the Metallica, the Black CD, the Enter Sandman CD, and what it really is the I haven't really made any um, music videos um, on my mobile phone or uploaded. I may have on my digital video camcorder. I made a whole lot. I made like 500 of like what I normally do out of like around probably more than 3,000. But I did like around 500 music videos on my digital video camcorder. And some of them I just kept stored on a SD card. I'm actually looking for it. I have quite a bit of me like on my original music, just drumming um, at random, not any set chosen song in that way. I mean, it's all spontaneity, and whatever's like going to like happen next is like happening like in the videos, completely at random all the way through it. I mean, like for about like probably around maybe 36 hours worth of that. Yeah. Anyway, so like anyway, I likewise in addition made around probably 500 music videos. Um, of like like normally when I put in a compact disc, and of like what I normally listen to, which is normally progressive, heavy metal, hard pop. I'd like to throw in that pop funk rock if I could actually really find it. But really, that's really what my original band will actually include is all that, including the pop funk rock. Yeah, so it'll be the Christian, yes, um, progressive, heavy metal, hard pop, funk rock. Yeah, I want to throw that pop funk rock into it as well, because I mean, it's like so very good for a change, and like they all of a sudden like, hey, I'm in the mood for it kind of like thing, and it's truthfully so really a good combination of that mood that I know that personally I've had when I hear it, and out of the norm of like a regular set format or genre category, and then all of a sudden something like that that real serious pop funk rock will get thrown in there. It's like, hey, wow, great. Yeah, so I mean, it's like a mood altering experience, and me personally, I know that for me, that's the way it is, and really, I'd like to have that effect on my audience as well, with some like original music that way. In any case, I'm looking at the two songs um on the Metallica compact disc, the Black CD, the Enter Sandman thing, um, and that is the God That Failed, and Through the Never. I'm going to focus on those two first, and make some good videos. I've been predominantly using my mobile phone for recording, because it really does a good job. And the first digital video camcorder I had was like a small handheld one, and it was like really, I mean, it's like really good. Although there was like and playback was like really great, and I could just like connect it to my like big big screen, flat screen television, and I think it's like I think it's around 60 inch flat screen television. I mean, I'd have like a real good view of myself on the drums with all the lighting and like really great sound connected, you know, going through my PA system. Um, um, you know, separately and individually, with a choice and option of going through my home theater or like, you know, my PA system that's got like, I mean, the mixing board, the signal processor. So I'm really like, when I connect my digital video camcorder to the television, I always just go ahead and just like go through the mixing board and all the signal processors and power amps to my PA system. And I mean, it cranks. I mean, it's like really a something. I mean, I like really like doing it that way. But anyway, in any case, since then I have a new digital video camcorder that seems to be I mean, it's like great, but the microphone, hopefully I can adjust the sensitivity, and it might be just maybe the foam cover that I had actually purchased that actually has a little bit more foam covering the microphone, and it's kind of like not quite as sensitive, um, and adjusting it to compensate, and I'm assuming that's more than likely what it is that maybe I'll probably will have to go back to the original um, gauge or thickness of the foam to prevent any filtering, unwanted filtering to the extent of maybe decreasing decibel range in that way. And I got to do that really first before I do any more recording with it, honestly. So I'm going to do that, and you know, I'm still looking at the Sony HXR NX100 digital video camcorder, and is the one really that is really as soon as possible. Must have a real good one. That is probably, I mean, for the price range, I mean, that is, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, out of all the ones that I've looked at, the choice as far as like features, options, and standards as far as the quality, and it has like I think it's including optical and digital zoom, power magnification. It's like up to 40 times, 48 time the 48 powered magnification, and that's including the optical as well as the digital combined. I think the optical, I think, I want to say it's 12. I want to say it's 24 really, but I think with the optical there's a manual adjustment between the 12 power and just a manual dial that actually will go to the 24, and likewise beyond that point with the digital it will go to the 48 powered magnification on the zoom, and it's like really good, and it has the SD DI, the SDDI BNC connectivity, which is pretty much involving a lot of stuff that would include certain types of timestamps, including visible and hidden, or you know, in that way with actual timekeeping and timestamps, and you know, frames per second and all that good stuff. In the way, and normally the BNC, the connectivity there is normally linked to satellite transmission to the BNC connector. And there's HDMI, the XLR, XLR predominantly normally for the microphones, straight connectivity to and from a mixing board, you know, going through the whole entire thing of signal processors, power amps, you know, to the PA, or to a 32 channel, like in my case, a Tascam 32 channel digital SD 32 channel Porta Studio for, you know, live as well as post-production, recording and editing, both live and post-production that way, plus the 32 channel mixing board and signal processors. And what I have is the Behringer DEQ 2496 Ultra Curve Pro master processing, and you know, just offhand, it has more than the but it has an equalizer, It has an expander, limiter, compressor, signal processor. It has parametric waveform customizing, changing, altering waveform in the way of customizing to a preference of a waveform within parametric boundaries. In that way of signal processing. Okay, and let's see, I think there's what else is there? There's some other okay, and what it is, I'd mentioned earlier, it has digital meters, and likewise, it's all digital, but it has representation in a digital. It is digital, but it's representative of what an analog meter used to look like, and it's set up and it looks like that on a display window, like an analog meter, but it's all measured in digital because it's all going through, it's all digital, what I have, but it looks like an analog meter, metering in an analog way, with the needle that's, basically, being controlled by signal strength in a magnetic force field that would normally represent, the bounce of the needle, in that way, with like analog and other factors as well. And attenuation that way, not always, involving, in some people's mind, the old RPM thing of like yeah, voltage regulation, the old time, RPM thing with motors and rubber bands and rubber belts and all that stuff. But yeah, that still is a form of signal processing. Processing speed, as a matter of fact, the RPM, and it's actually controlled likewise with modules and stuff like that now in digital format. What was kind of like somewhere in between integrating factors of solid state and some that would somehow get the phrase of, logic circuitry in somewhere, whether they were even involved with each other or not. Those two would be sometimes the distinguishable difference of knowing or not knowing. The capability of the equipment is when solid state was like shown or not shown, and even more so with the logic circuitry, which came along a little bit later, was more advanced in that way. In any case, yeah. So what I have is the Behringer DEQ2496 master processing signal processor, and it does all that and more. I'm looking at the spectrum analyzer, and right now that's really all I'm worried about right now, until I really get into my original, audio production and recording my original music, and to a point of having auditions pretty much concluded to the effectiveness of getting into the original music with musicians and band members that are, and everyone's satisfied and comfortable with each other in every possible way, to make sure that it's not going to be in anything other than a continuous consistency that reflects everyone is like thoroughly satisfied with each other, and not going to have a need or feel the need to maybe do anything other than stay and make the best of it. So in that way, hopefully when it gets to the point, and really I kind of like thought of by now I would have possibly even heard a little bit, but actually me calling and actually talking to headquarter offices of like YouTube and Google, phenomenally, it's been really kind of frustrating. What seemed to have been like so readily available and like a normal, not a question, I mean, if it got to the point of actually going there, but I'm calling like California phone numbers, and based on some of the information, Austin, Texas would be the closest of some of the headquarter offices, according to the information. It's not that I've been there or really know because I've been there. It's really just based upon the information being provided on my mobile phone and laptop. but that would be the closest of actually going. Which going to Austin was like no big deal. I think it's only like 2.5, maybe 3 hours at the most from where I'm at right now, and that's no big deal really, for real. Anyway, so like other than just me uploading, me using YouTube.com as um, a music video audio production portfolio, and really that's truthfully what I'm doing, is using it that way. Plus, for all my drumming, predominantly my drumming and lighting, and my style versatility of like what I've always practiced, just by putting it in the compact disc, and just like getting on it. So in any case, yeah. So yeah. So like Metallica, I'm I'm having to take a break. I need to make sure, um, because of certain factors, if waiting might be a little bit more the thing to do. And normally with this COVID ID, the pandemic, and all that, I mean, I wasn't feeling in any kind of way. I wasn't even worried about it. I didn't even think I would ever even have a need to worry about it. But obviously, it for the last 6 months, um, and I really, I don't believe really truthfully much about any of it, how it's all happening. I mean, at all. So anyway, that's a whole different story. But in any case, yeah. So in any case, yeah. So anyway, so like I've had like that black Metallica black CD, the Enter Sandman CD, ever since it came out. I think, God, way back in the 80s. And for like years, I just kind of like, just wanting, well, anyway, like I'm like looking at it and getting into it. I used to practice it all the time. And I really kind of like went to the Christian, looking for the Christian progressive heavy metal, hard pop, punk rock bands, which truthfully, back in the 80s, other than like Whiteheart and White Cross, which predominantly is like my kind of vocals. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, they are way cool about the vocals, the sound and everything. Even more so the vocals and the words and the lyrics. Sometimes it's kind of like, in any case, yeah. So I mean, I like both of their styles as far as lead vocals and really virtually everything. And those are the two bands that predominantly I focused on back in the 80s. I mean, it's just like, by comparison, there was only one other. It was a compilation of various bands. And I was invited. Actually, I went to an Assembly of God church out of I-10. My parents actually wanted me to meet someone. And I went out there. And I met a particular person. And she, likewise, in addition, introduced me to some other people. And during that time, they had a cassette of like and the guy said, "Hey man," we were talking, and he goes, "Hey, I have a cassette I think you'll really like." And so I said, "Hey, what is it?" So he went and got it, and it's called Axemen 2. And they let me have it, and I thought, man, I mean, to this day, as far as a compilation of like various different Christian rock bands, I mean, to this day, I mean, they are still, I mean, the best. And I had it, and what was going on at the time is that I didn't think there was going to be an issue with like a stress point for any time or anyone having to all of a sudden need to get it. And that's exactly what happened. Is that the guy that let me borrow it, I was going to actually make a copy of the cassette, but I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't expecting any, all of a sudden thing. And ultimately, that's what exactly happened. But anyway, I didn't get to make a copy of it. And I was like listening to it. I mean, it's called Axemen 2. And I mean, to this day, I mean, I hadn't heard any as good as these, other than like maybe Whiteheart and White Cross, in that way of like, hard rock. And if there's like a category anywhere, meeting the requirements to be even considered progressive, distinguishedly set aside and different, would only be maybe an equation of not integration at all, but yeah, that's the hardest rock that you might not even worry about meeting the requirements of progressive in that way. I mean, they are phenomenally awesome on that cassette. And I've tried to find it. I mean, I have repeatedly tried to find it. Well, anyway, what happened is that the guy that let me borrow it is that his father is a motorcycle rider. Some of the guys that were going to that Assembly of God, which I went there because of my parents. They wanted me to meet someone else, and I went there, and likewise, it was like a thing for a while. In any case, yeah. So anyway, the guy that I borrowed the cassette from, his father, I think it was his father, or someone in his family, was actually killed in a motorcycle accident, and he did not really know what was going to be like in the immediate near future involving everything that might result because of that. So he called and asked that I bring him that cassette. And, I thought, oh man, And ever since then, I took his cassette back. And the name of the cassette, of the compilation, which is, I think that's how it's pronounced, compilation anyway, a variety of like Christian rock bands. Axemen too. And I mean, repeatedly. And after I'd mentioned that several times in different places, all of a sudden, like, there was like a television show of like lumberjacks of Axemen too. It's kind of like, no, man, no. Yeah, sure, but yeah, yeah, but hey, yeah, for real. So anyway, it's kind of like that's all I was getting online after a certain amount of attempts trying to find that Christian rock cassette was then getting into the CD, looking for the CD, and even the MP3 format and videos. I mean, they are that good. I mean, it's kind of like, where's the videos? I mean, you got to be kidding me. That's a must-have, got-to-see thing for real with like live in concert. Anyway, I'm still trying to find it. In any case, like right now, I'm thinking that the next two music video audio production, like with all my lighting and all that here, will probably be the Metallica Through the Never and The God That Failed will probably be the next two that I will actually make videos of. And I'm not sure when it's going to happen. I mean, I'm going outside. I'm feeling like some invisible lasers from like some like warheads. I mean for real. I mean, it's kind of like I go outside. I mean, like really, man. In any case, so I'm trying to like, decide if even going outside is even safe. I mean, I had my drums. I had my. I don't have any blinds up or curtains or anything. And I walk in one day and my drum head is melted, and a potato chip bag on my table is completely melted. And I knew it was because I was feeling that thing about a laser, and not that it's any laser involved with my lighting inside my home for like music video and truthfully in any kind of way, and hopefully that'll never happen. But in any case, yeah, um, yeah, no, that's so immediately I'm like a little upset with that happening. Matter of fact, I've made all kinds of phone calls because of it, and not limited to it's like why is that kind of looking at me that way, you know um any so anyway, like I'm looking at the Metallica the Metallica the black, I'm not sure if they call it I've heard it referred to as the black CD of Metallica, the Enter Sandman with the Through the Never and The God That Never Failed, and all the songs on that compact disc. Anyway, but those will be probably the two that I will do first when I feel comfortably like it's going to be a really good thing. Because when I first started really recording, I mean, like I actually used my digital video camcorder, not my phone, and I mean I was like going non-stop. I mean all day, every day, until I got to around 500 music videos. And really, I mean, it's like simply and easily, really truthfully, during my entire life, I mean, considerably more than 3,000 individual songs. That, I mean, just like, bam, even songs I hadn't played for 15, 20 years. I mean, it's like almost virtually 95 to 99, if not perfect, the first time. Playing it the first time after that long. Um, Amazingly true, yeah, truthfully so. Some songs, it's like the majority are that way for me. I played them that many times throughout my entire life. I mean, I'm sure it's been like far beyond hundreds of thousands of times with all the songs repeatedly. And at the very beginning, I'm sure that anyone that plays by ears and was teaching themselves what they considered like the standard of the century that they had set for themselves by choosing it and teaching themselves their favorite musicians' style, technique, and instrument, as well as vocals and all that. Like I did for myself. I mean, yeah. So I mean, really, there's a lot of things about it. But truthfully, I mean, yay. In any case, yeah, I'm wanting to get that Sony HXR NX100 digital video camcorder for all the connectivity, live and post-production, editing, all that. And anyway, so like I say, I'm going to readjust and try and feel comfortable again, to a point to where I can feel comfortable again and safely have like a normal, like, walk through the mailbox. I mean, for real. Anyway, yeah. Amazingly true. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna take a break here. It's getting close to like 30 minutes of me talking right now. So, yeah. Anyway, there it is. Okay.